Hey guys, this is part 3 of the forms drawing. I realized I did not show you how to shade it yet in a certain way. And another word for shading, by the way, the real correct word is called modeling, okay? Because we're kind of doing this without paying too much attention to the actual light. So, forms, they're 3D. We have 5 forms: cube, cylinder, sphere, cone, and pyramid, all right? So here is, you have your, I'm going to draw them really fast. You should have a drawing of the 5 shapes, right? I'm drawing these fast because I've done this a long time. You should take your time and make sure that they come out nice, okay? Cone is an oval with a dot up here, right? Pyramid is a diamond. Draw like a letter A. And then a V. Put your dot up here. All right, all this so far was review, okay? Now we're gonna do something called hatching. Just like when an egg hatches, chicken egg, okay? Hatching means you shade something in or do modeling by going in straight lines. Those are called hatches or hatching, okay? So cross-hatching just means you make like a tic-tac-toe board, you cross-hatch. And I'm going to follow this diagonal. You always want to try to follow the shape, the contour of your form. All right, so you see I'm going with these lines to help the modeling. So we have light, dark, and then we're going to do medium by just doing hatching on the top. All right, pretty simple. For the purposes of this, we're going to kind of pretend that there's a light up here. So we have what they call in art a light source. We're going to pretend this is our light source. And the light is coming out like this. Right? So here's our cylinder. And so this would be lit up. And this would start to get a shade. And I'm following the curve of the cylinder. The contour of the cylinder, all right? That'll model your form. Now, the darkest edge of a shadow is the front edge, all right? Back here, it gets lit a little bit because you get reflected light. I'm gonna do that with a pencil. So I'm gonna draw like a few lines down there. All right, and I'm going to make the up here a little bit extra dark with the hatching. Okay, now if the light was over here, this would be totally black, so I'm going to cross hatch it. And you want to try to follow the direction of the shape, right, which is diagonal. And then you can just go up and down. And I'm cheating a little. Throw in an extra one here. All right, so that looks black. That's starting to look pretty 3D. I'm going to skip the sphere for now. I'm going to do that last because that's the most difficult. You don't have any lines, diagonal lines, to help you create space. It's only with the shading. So that's the most difficult one. My light's coming this way. So your shadow would be here. And I'm following the curve of that cone, going towards the tip of it, okay, like that. You can see it already looks a little 3D. And again, I'm going to put a few in the back, but I'm going to make the front edge of that shadow darker. Okay, and you could do a few down here even. And again, I'm following that curve. I'm not just doing straight lines. Okay, now of course, this would be completely black if the light's coming this way. So again, you want to follow the shape that's slanted. Okay? And now I'm just gonna go this way. You could draw one down the middle first if that helps you make it easier. So this again is cross hatching. I'm gonna write that up here. You have hatching, and then you have cross hatching. Okay, now excuse me one sec. I'm gonna go just grab a pencil from over here. Okay, got a pencil. Pyramid, again, if the light's coming here, this would be the darkest, this would be medium. We'll pretend the light's hitting here, okay? So I'm gonna hatch this one, and I'm following that angle to model the form. Okay, I'm gonna make this totally dark, so I'm gonna cross hatch it. And I'm following the shape of the form. Okay, and I'm gonna follow this line too. Okay, so that's all done with hatching, cross hatching. Okay, hatching, cross hatching. Now the sphere. When you shade a sphere, I'm going to give you a quick tip. The best way to do it, I'm going to draw this with this pencil, is you make a letter C for yourself, okay, of where the shadow would be. Because this is what I wanted the pencil for. The reason this is lighter than this is because the light comes in, bounces off the table, and you get some reflected light here, okay? So again, this would be the most white right here. That's called the highlight. Which, because my paper is white, we're not going to worry about that today. But your light would bounce off of here and make this reflected light. It won't be so dark. So watch how I'm going to hatch this. I'm going to start with small ones, and you want to keep them all horizontal, the same direction. Don't turn your hatch lines. Okay, so that's not too bad. It's looking a little 3D already. But what you want to do, like we've been doing, you want to put a few back here for the reflected light. Not as many. Okay, just a few. And then we want to make that C, we want to get that darker. So we're going to put extra ones in there. 'Cause like I said, the edge of your shadow should always be the darkest. We could put a few here, right? So that's not too bad. That looks pretty 3D, but now watch. Now I'm gonna hopefully blow your mind with some shadows with my pencil. If the light was hitting, we're gonna have to pretend, because I put the light the wrong way for this, okay? So I'm gonna pretend if light was coming this way, we would get like a squarish shadow. So when you're starting out, I recommend drawing the shape of your shadow first, like this. And then with the side of your pencil, shade that in. Now your shadow's always the darkest near the object. And then it gets lighter and lighter as more light hits it. So that looks a little 3D again. Now when this light hits the cylinder, you're gonna get a shape kind of like this, right? It'd be like the shadow of that. So watch when I shade this, it's really gonna pop off the paper. And again, I'm gonna get the darkest right near the object, and then it gets lighter as it comes away from the object, because you get a lot more reflected light in there. And here's another tip. Leonardo da Vinci figured this out. The object is always darker than the shadow. The shadow can never be darker than the object. Okay. Now with this, watch this. Okay, so you want to draw like a really wide oval for the shape of this shadow. Right? It'd be something like this. I just drew an oval here, right? Now you shade it in really dark, right near the oval. And you get lighter and lighter. And then the shadow breaks up as it moves away. It's starting to look really 3D. That looks like a sphere, right? It's not a circle anymore. Okay? And you can do the same with this one. This one I'm going to run out of room, but if this was hitting this, your shadow might go something like this. Might be like a diamond that's all stretched out. And I'm running out of room, of course, but be like that, maybe. And for my cone, it would be probably something like this. Because the light, again, is hitting here. So it'll be like an oval, be the bottom of the cone. All right, now we'll get really dark in here where the shadow starts. Just have it get lighter and lighter. Let me get this one a little darker. All right, and there you have it. That's how you're gonna do your shading on the 5 forms, okay? Take your time with the sphere. Do 5 spheres if you need to. And if you need to make it easier by adding a little pencil, why not, right? Sometimes it's easier with blending instead of hatching, but. So there you go. Enjoy your weekend.